Hello, we are back for another live stream. So let's see how everything is working here. I can hear my own voice. Hopefully you can hear my voice too. I started with the vocoder, which will be a new FX which we released in the autumn of 2001. So in hopefully end of September, early October, we will have Explorer 7. Together with Delsane, Predator 3, and this new vocoder type of FX, and which I was just playing. And one thing which is very important with the vocoder, if you use your voice, is that the voice needs to be compressed so that you don't have these huge peaks. So the better the voice recording is. So if it's live recording, I use a little bit of a compression here to keep the levels of the voice a bit better, so that makes it also the vocoder works better. Of course, it's different if you use a drum loop, but or maybe a pre-recorded vocal. Most of the time, this pre-recorded vocal is okay already, and already has a kind of compression, so that you got a very level, nice level of volume in this volume. So when I put on the vocoder again, of course, I need to use MIDI note information. So in this music program, I used a MIDI track and connect this to this vocoder. So when I play the keyboard, you see, and then I play the chords. Test, 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 test. Okay. So now I'm back again. So okay. Then there is of course an additional thing in the in this vocoder which we will have. Everything is working. Yeah, that's good. And so I see a little image on the left side. I see some people popping in. Cool. Yeah, it's cool to be back again, guys. I had, of course, my annual holiday. I was very lazy in Greece on a beautiful island called Samos, and we really enjoyed it. And I was pretty lazy. And did some little jogging there because I got a little bit overweighted the last couple of years. And of course, you need to jog very early, otherwise it's too hot. And yeah, and some nice people. It was still quiet there, of course, because of all the regulations and all the travel bans which are. But lucky enough, Samos is COVID-free, and we had a test before we could fly. We had to do a test, but we were negative, so we could go on holiday. So lucky me. I hope everybody's okay. And yeah, I started out with the vocoder type of thing, and we have two types essentially in this machine. So let me see if I can sneak the other preset without telling already the name of this product. It's of course a vocoder type of thing, but we have an XY in this vocoder, so you can use the XY to dynamically change the sound. And so okay, let me check again and put it on with the other mode it has, which is a kind of additive mode. You can so you even can combine the vocoder with the additive. Then you get some very typical Borg sounds. No, that's the wrong ones. That's the basic. So let me give another try. Need to click. Okay. I think it's this one. Testing. No. Okay. So you can hear it's pretty much more atonal because it has a kind of additive stuff. The default preset, of course, is more vocoder type. Of course, it has built-in FX, it has chorus, it has flanger, the nice reverb code, delay, some very cool features. So keep an eye, of course, at September, end of September, hopefully early October, somewhere that we release the new products, Predator 3, and also this vocoder type of machine, which has some very, very nice cool features. But most likely, if we have the graphics ready, most likely I will show you earlier. Yeah, what we are doing currently is working still on Punch-2 as well. And let me show you a few things which we changed. I spoke about this already, I think, ahead of my holiday. So when I play here, when I go to Punch-2, I open this one. So what we did is we extracted all the MIDI, all these sequences, what we have, and the auditions. So John did a great job to do this. And if you go then, once you will install this new Punch-2, the Punch-1 MIDI you can delete because that's not workable with Punch-2. We installed it, it's on your current folder, but it's not useful. So in the newer version of Punch-2, if you go to the MIDI folder, you will see exported audition MIDI, exported groove MIDI, loop MIDI, and sequence MIDI. Now audition is of course if the audition is playing. So when I go here and would pick, for instance, one of the auditions, for instance, this one, I simply pick one. I can use drag and drop, of course, with your music host program. I'm using Cubase, but you have to keep in mind, if you drag and drop in Cubase, you have to set the grid active and on the bar so that it drops on the first start of a beat. So if I would drag drop now in Cubase, simply pick something. No, I just pick one, this one, and I drag this to bar 65. Then you see here it is. Oh, I dropped it in the track from Subboom Bass, which is of course not useful. So I drag it a little bit lower. There it is, and then it's in Punch-2. So now I go now to bar 65. Okay, here's bar 65, and okay, 65, and what would I set? 73, for instance, that, or maybe longer. Yeah. Okay, so here we have it. Then it plays Punch, but it's of course a MIDI file. Let's see what happens. Yeah, that's of course not what is the original one. The original one was, okay, most likely, I had the MIDI file was called Find Cajon 92 from the introduction bank. So Find Cajon 92. So I go to Punch-2, open, go to the introduction bank. Find Kion 92. Here it is. So if I play it now again, it should work. So let's hear it. Okay, tempo is not good enough. It should be 95 beats per minute. And I can hear that there is an FX on Punch, which should not be working. So it's something sneaking in. Yeah, it was just saying, I think. Mute. I have to mute something. Go. There it is. So now you have it here as a MIDI file, which makes that, of course, you can copy and paste stuff, do your own thing, slice or copy things differently. And this, of course, is an audition. And the cool thing is, if you have the MIDI file, of course, if you go down in Punch-2 and you pick a different preset, sometimes you get some cool stuff. Of course, so when I go back now, this preset, so sometimes my voice goes out because it's loading the samples. Okay. So this is the audition. So the MIDI file is exactly the audition. But there are also here, if I go here to the manager preset, there is also brush slice sequence. Then the audition, which is down here, is sequence. So it has changes over time. So if I hit now the audition button, which is note G3 sharp, it changes. You can see here now group 3 comes in, then it plays the slice loop. Break 1 comes in, and this is in the pattern page. It is programmed. You see, just like an old style drum machine, which has different patterns behind each other. This is the audition sequence or play mode, which you can select here. You said audition sequence mode, and the other preset I played was audition mode, which is essentially only one selection. So this audition sequence mode is the newer mode inside Punch-2. So if I would then go back to this MIDI export introduction, it was, let me see if I can find this preset. Yeah, it was brushed slice sequence 120. So this is the other. So if I pick that one, I throw away this one, and I drag drop that one. Yeah, you see, that is then the audition sequenced. That should be then all the different sequences. So let's see if that's right. Not sure if I have them all correctly, because we had some little... No, that's not the correct one. No, so... oh, it could be that with extracting, which is done by on. Let me see, our MIDI groove loop sequence MIDI. Okay, these are the ones. Yeah, these I do need. Yeah, these brushed. So it's a other folder. Okay, so now we do drag and drop again. Then it should fit. Of course, the tempo is not very good, but now you see, now it should play as it was in the punch sequencer itself. Okay, I hit the wrong button. Here it is. Yeah, you see now then you, or if I could play the same, of course, I could play the same by hitting here the audition. So essentially it's a sequenced audition sequencer 1. And we, in the next update of Punch-2, we will have all these factory patches will have, we converted to the MIDI. So it will look like this. I think this one is called exported sequence MIDI. That will be renamed because it's still the older one. This will be what you will see. The folders will be named exported audition MIDI, export audition sequencer MIDI, which are inside this one. So yeah, what I mentioned, so everything is in there, converted. You can forget this Punch-1, you can throw that away. Then of course, if you create your own material, you also can export to a MIDI. One person had a good idea. He said, well, why not drag and drop? But the problem is that we have several types of MIDI exports. So if you go to the pattern page, you can see here is the command. And in the command, you can see sequencer export MIDI. Okay, that's the wrong one. I need to go here, I think. Here are the, yeah. Export to MIDI, current groove break, export to MIDI slice loop, export to MIDI all group breaks loop, export to MIDI audition or the audition sequencer. So you have different options in how to export the MIDI. Of course, if you don't have a audition sequencer active in your preset, it doesn't make sense to do a export to MIDI with audition sequencer because it's not in the original preset. But this menu also will pop up here in the command structure here. Oh, here it is. Yeah, sorry. I was looking on the wrong. Oh, this is the audition sequencer. Yeah, the commands have two commands. This one is the commands for the audition sequencer. Sorry. Here is the command. So here you see export to MIDI current groove break. So if you have like here groove 1 selected, you also can say export this one only to MIDI. And then it always drops in this folder, in this main root MIDI, there it drops. You see test 1, test, that's things I did. Yeah, so yeah, more once we release, I will make a small video about it and explaining it. And drag and drop, yeah, maybe it's an interesting idea if you can grab this here and drop that one into the sequence. Well, I needed to discuss that with John, but then it's only possible if you have an audition sequencer going on or a regular audition. So another thing is, which is also cool, we will have some new presets. Jamal is creating some new presets. I had no time yet to add them, but I can show you some other stuff, which is in the default preset, and it's plastic bottles. These are CC Beats 10105. This is done by a drummer in the Netherlands, Koen Hers. And yeah, I made already a preset just ahead of my holiday, and it sounds like this. So these are plastic bottles. I'm not sure if it's Coca-Cola or Pepsi. Maybe there's a sound difference, but it's sliced, of course. So if you go to pad 1, you can see they are in the new folder. It's called Herfst Plastic Bottles. And you see I used one. I add a little bit of bass drum to it. There are different ones, so you can also, these are the different grooves. So I could grab this one and throw that one. You see now it's in here. And then of course you need to, if I play it here, play loop. or this one here, 4B. Let's play it. So in combination, so press original, then have the some very new sounds, fresh sounds we are working on. Hopefully at the end of July we will have this for you. And then I have some very nice marching type of things. So listen to this one. This one needs tempo 1696. Cool, isn't it? Or let's take this one. If I click here, I can. So, okay, this one, of course, I need to slice. You need to, while creating these presets, you need to slice this loop, adjust it, maybe less points, more points. Of course, in this original preset, I use the loop 9, yeah, and you see I made 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 pounds, so 5 slices. Yeah, cool, isn't it? Then of course, yeah, we added some FX to it to add some room. Yeah, there's also a little difference here. We had the case that in your current version, this is of course a pretty busy page. It's the FX page, have 4 FX, and down here you see all the pads. And in the Punch-1 FX mode, if you go to that one, you see it's a bit easier because that is each pad has its own output. So you can throw it to FX 1, 2, 3, 4, or dry output. But in the FX2 mode, you can see you have 4 FX stands. So it's a bit busy because each pad, I play now this one, has 4 FX stands. And we improved this because in the current version, if you play this one and it was selected, it was not popping up correctly. So now it's a bit more clearer. The another thing is in the manager, if you go to the drum presets, you see here you have a pad, but you can also audition. So if you take another pad here, and you can audition. So you work through all the little presets, the drum presets. These are the for each type of sound. You see bass drum. There are all kind of bass drums, and you even have folders. Classic analog. You see some classic bass drums. Diverse is. So for pad 24, which is this one, you can. Yeah, another cool thing is now if you go to the main page, which is also new. If you go to the main page and you are in the main page and you go to a different sound, so maybe you have pad 24 selected, you go to a snare, it loads right away the first preset. So that's also a little improvement. So, okay, let's go to the chat room. So, yeah, Punch-2, there's a lot of cool stuff going on. New presets, improvement of the MIDI export, the MIDI files, yeah, new sounds. Okay, so I'm talking now already for a pretty long time. So let's check the chat room. Okay, yeah, I hope everybody is okay. I see some people who I very often see, of course. The video crashed. Oh, you still can hear me, guys? I hope. Excellent condition. It's connection, it does say here. All right, Winston. Yeah, it's bad time in South Africa. We see it on the news. Very sad to see how things are going there. Okay, Joan asks, so the MIDI Punch-2 track works the same like a Groove Agent MIDI track? I'm not sure, because I don't know the Groove Agent. Of course, if you go to YouTube and Punch-2, there's a playlist Punch-2 with a lot of information, because Punch-2 is a very deep, very sophisticated drum machine, which you really need to learn. Of course, if you want to stay simple, and that's also why we do now, also again an update with new preset, is you can stay on this main page, because if you say, okay, this is a nice groove, and I want to have a different bass drum, you can go watch where the bass drum is. Oh, it's this one here, at 7. You can go here to the advanced page, but you also can select it here by clicking on the outer. And then you change here, pick a different preset. Okay. Yeah, I see Christian Hernandez. I upgraded to an M1 Silicon, and yeah, the plugins work very well. We had a very little problem with the Rosetta or the M1, which was that not always the presets did update in this screen, but we solved that in most of them. And in general, it's very, very good. Some people ask, well, there is, of course, also the native thing with the M processor, that you really use the native coding, so not in Rosetta mode. But I'm not sure if you're going to see the difference, because our products are already very CPU friendly, and the M1 is a very fast processor, because it has the one board with the processor, hard disk, and the memory close to each other, so it's very fast. So I wonder if you would see the difference if we are native on this M1. But that native on the M1, we are working on it, but I think it will be hard to see the difference. What is coming in Predator 3? That's a good question. It will have a very different look. The Filter 1 and Filter 2 will always be visual. So it's going to change if you take the original now. So if I would go back to bar 9 and bar 17 and then show you. So now we have, oh, what a low tempo. Let's give it a little bit more juice on the 27. So where is he? Yeah, here we see Predator. So, okay, what's going to change? I cannot show it because, yeah, we're very far with the user interface, but I want to keep that now a little bit apart. So what is the difference in general is that you see Filter 1 and Filter 2, you need to select it. And that's what is going to change. Filter 1 and Filter 2 will always be visible, even if, because you have, for instance, in Filter 2, this mode of Split 1, which came over from the original Predator 1, which means that Filter 2 is essentially the same filter as Filter 1, but it has a different cutoff frequency, and you can pan them left, right. But of course, once we had Predator 2, we could have more filter types, its own filter envelope. But so what makes to have this room is that filter LFO moved to this lower section. It's going to be wider. This Predator 3 is going to be a bit wider. The play mode moves to the middle lower section. We will have also, of course, we have envelopes here, but these will stay 4 envelopes, but also will have a multi-envelope, which you might know from blue too. So if I would go, let's see if we can, here's blue 2. So we have 2 multi-envelopes. Here you have the multi-envelopes. These are also in, and you can say, okay, make here a 8-section multi-envelope. This is from Deep Blue. This one is going to be also in Predator. So next to the regular envelopes, you will always have these multi-stage envelopes which can tempo sync. You can loop them or release off, sync. Yeah, all kind of cool things are possible with the multi-envelope. So 2 of them. And the other thing which is very cool is that we will have also a sidechain input. And the sidechain input, you can use then this input to control the parameters of Predator 3. Of course, it will have a lot of new presets, and it will have, the sequencer will be expanded. Now you have sequencer A and B. It will be sequencer A, B, C, and D. A bit comparable to what we do with Submoon Bass 2, where you can also select them with the upper notes. We will have ratcheting, of course, and also a free row, but an extra row, which doesn't pop in my mind now. And it also will be VST3, yeah, sure. And by the way, just in the holiday, we had VST3 for BIT, XY transfer, and another one which doesn't pop in my mind. We had that in the newsletter, so we are upgrading our products with this, and especially on Cubase, you need VST3 if you want to have a sidechain input. Otherwise, you cannot connect it. Are all the legacy plugins ported to VST3? Not sure about that. I mean, we are, I think Submoon Bass 1.1 and the original Predators still might be popping up in lots of older songs people use. So we still keep it compatible, but I don't think that we will have it VST3. Yeah, somebody says, love this dark skin. Yeah, the skin will be totally different. You will be shocked. Well, I think it's very cool what we did. And so the terms of NFX, that will be still the same. So it's mainly having some very good improvements in terms of the workflow. So it will be a bit easier to use compared, because of, yeah, if you see Predator 2, it's loaded with a lot of controls. And the other thing is, of course, the sound code. We still work on that one, so you might hear a difference with Predator 2 compared to Predator 3, because we do some little things which we also did in BIT. So yeah, the sequencer, I'm just thinking about what the other thing was inside the sequence which we added. So you get 2 extra rows. We have the offset that's already inside of it, but we got ratcheting, but there was another one. But anyhow, it's going to be very powerful ARP sequencer. The user waves will be not here anymore, but we only will have the big screen for user waves, because that's much easier to edit. So it will look like this, so that you can edit much easier your custom waveforms, create them. Yeah, so it's gonna be very cool. I'm very happy with the new design. Makes me very happy. The user interface is more that what I like, especially with the fact that you have the Bose filters visible. And then you see here we also will have a waveform display, and then you can just a little bit like BIT, which this idea came from BIT. If I open bit, where are you? Of course, BIT focus mainly only on subtractive synthesis, and you have here the waveform display. You can go advanced, so we will have that also in a bit different way in Predator 3. So you also will have a nice waveform appearing. So that's also cool, isn't it? Still much work to do, but it's going very well. will have different sizes, 200% also for the 4K users, of course. Yeah. Okay. So yeah, we are back with the live stream. If you missed the start of it, you always can watch it back in the playlist live stream. I started out with the Vocoder type FX, which we are creating also. So in end of September, we hope, or early October, we will have Explorer 7 with Delsane, which is already available, Predator 3, and this new very cool FX, which I was playing already at the start of the video. Okay. What will the cause of the U be? Yeah, well, it's different. It's really refreshing, and of course, it distinguish also. By the way, I shared on Facebook a nice video about Studio One. In Studio One, if you have one track, you already can stack things. So check out my Facebook post if you are on Facebook. There's a video on YouTube, and this guy does all tutorials about Studio One, and it has a very nice feature that you can stack within one track already multiple instruments, and I run into it because I saw he started out with a lead sound from BIT. Okay. And of course, if you have Predator 3, if you upgrade, you still can use Predator 2 and even Predator 1.6. We keep that alive because, yeah, people sometimes have older songs which they created maybe 10 years ago. They load them in, and then they need Predator 1.6 or then maybe Predator 2. So we keep them available. Okay. Okay. I'm looking here on the chat room. If there's any question, yeah, if you have a question, guys, just let me know. I was showing about Punch-2, and if you have the MIDI files, you know, I don't know what came here. So here's the track of Punch-2, and I had this MIDI file playing, and that is the cool thing. If you then use another preset, sometimes you run into something very nice. Okay, that's a bit too long. I think 73. So drag and drop I did. Okay, that's... So next week we will have another live stream. If you have a nice idea about sound design, if you look in the playlist on YouTube, you have, last time we had it about a smooth lead sound. We created that one with BIT. We had a subject about groovy bass sounds. We did that with Subboom Bass 2. So this makes it totally messy. So key. So if I go to the manager, I simply pick from the bank another drum kit. Simply pick one. Originally, it is this preset. So now by playing the MIDI file, which is a totally different groove, sometimes you run some nice stuff. Some ugly noise. Where's the ugly noise? Okay, let's mute that. And then it's the groove is nice. It was not bad. Okay. Oh, there's more noise going on. Okay, mute this one too. And yeah, so the little changes, if you go to pad 1, I can go here on pick another folder, dance 2, kick one of the other kicks. Only dance 1, or hip hop R&B, very low one. So originally this MIDI file is something else, but I just pick one of the presets and I start fooling around. You're just in the main page, you can stay there, and if you think, okay, this sound is annoying, and you mute it. You take another snare, you can go to the advanced models, sample based. High sample base, and another one's nice. Or make it maybe tune a bit different. Or grains. And then if you say, okay, this is cool. Well, the bad thing is to create your own folder here. You can create your own folder. By the way, this is also improved. The letters are a bit closer to each other, so you see more banks now than in the current version. So this is the newer version. You create your own preset, and then or your own bank, and then you say save preset. You say save preset in folder. Then you pick. Yeah, that's of course a little bit work here. You pick a different folder. You go into the bank folder, and you say, okay, I store this in my own folder. Now I throw it in the default preset and press OK. And then, of course, you have to give it an own name. So, own preset. And so you can create your own kits, drum kits. Yeah, somebody asked in the Anchor S support. Yeah, Punch-2 has Anchor S support. Predator 3 also will have Anchor S support, but not at the release, because there's also a lot of work to make it compatible to Anchor S. So once we release Predator 3, it will not have the Anchor S right away. Okay, what synth would work without drawing out the unique drum sounds on the kit, on that kit? Oh yeah, but that's tweaking. So if you have this, well, that's a matter of, I think, tweaking. So if I move this one now to the music bar, so let's move this one to the music I have. And I see, could be very noisy, but then you need to adapt the sound from the music. So yeah, then just build up and play. So a lot is not working. There's another punch playing. So disco, this is more disco. Hear this one? 909 hi-hat. Some claps. And combined with the other Punch-2. Maybe the tone of the snare is too much of a tone. It depends really on your music. So in this case, I would say I would most likely only use the last bar. So I move this. This would be, but that's of course, yeah, music creation and playing around. Don't be afraid, I would say. Yeah. So there's so I want to edit this sound, okay, sound a little bit, and there was this little Congo. So by muting it, maybe it's or muting the frame drum. Let's see what the snare does. Oh. So now it's 2 beats playing essentially. So yeah, leaving things out, leaving things in, it's always, yeah, and that's cool with the MIDI files. You simply can say, okay, now I used only the last part, I throw it away, I try again. And the snare is too dominant, so I would make it a little more nicer. Or simply pick another one. And you still can add it. I mean, now the snare's gone. Okay, come on. Or pick one of the presets. So. So there's a very low bass in this one. So yeah, just combine. Yeah, it's a matter of combining. So you see, now I used twice Punch for making a beat. So fiddling around. Of course, if you save a song, the presets you created in Punch are also saved in this particular song. But of course, if you want to use this preset in a different new song, it's always wise to save the preset. But yeah, just play around. I mean, it's sometimes you need to mute something, and that's nice with Punch is with the main screen. It's pretty easy. You see this one is muted, it's fade out. So if I unclick the mute, you see the bass drum is muted. It was this one. By the way, if you play up here, you can play it tuned. So yeah, it's even nice to combine 2 things together. On CPU wise, Punch-2 is not a problem on a contemporary product. So why not use 2 Punch-2s to create a groove? So to show it again is, so this is the other one based on the MIDI file. what you also could do is this one is, of course, a disco beat, very simple. And you say, oh, I only want to, okay, this is the wrong one. So I need to open the correct one. This is the other one. I simply say, okay, I only want to have the bass from here. Then you press S for solo, and everything else is shut down in this. So I'm only doing the bass drum. You hear that one? That's the bass drum. Yeah, as you can see, it depends how you see now by combining two, you simply do some little things. I would use it this way because this is as a nice beat. There's a bass here. Which you can influence. Oh, there's some sequence playing here. This one. We can change this one. And we had the other one, also Predator. It's a bit Kraftwerk I like. So I can use the Vocoder, of course, then also. Let's see if we can put on the Vocoder. Where is he? Okay. Yeah, you see, so just having fun. Don't be afraid to turn this down. So I made some sounds shorter, some longer. So the bass was first a little bit muddy, more sub bass, and opened the cutter frequency, and it fits a little bit better. Okay, normally we would play Tom Aldrich with a funky groove, but Tom is not here, I think. Normally he would send me a song. Yeah, well, I was for almost 4 Thursdays, I was gone, of course. But I guess Tom will pop up with a funky demo again. And yeah, guys, I hope you like the live stream. Next week, if you have an idea, maybe you use BIT, Subboom Bass, Predator 2, Bluetooth, whatever. And would like some tips, or Rob, do this or that, send me an email to info@robpapen.com or drop it on the community tab here on Facebook. There's a tab called community, and then we can check out next week about this subject. It's always fun. Maybe you have a kind of music example which you say, okay, Rob, look into this, and that's always fun to do. Okay, guys, this is I'm going out now. Thanks for watching. Maybe you still have a question, then drop it now in the chat room. I can look into it. Yeah, sure. If you make music afterwards, you also need to to EQ and mix and balance things out. Oh yeah, Christian Hernandez talked about limit polyphonically. Monolegato, we will have monolegato modes in new legato modes in Predator 3. We will have also the zero latency filters in Predator 3. Unlimited polyphony, I don't know what the benefit would be if you have 4, 8 of 16. Well, it's 16 voice anyhow, but I don't know what it makes if you have 4 only. But okay, so let them come, the questions, guys. Next week, same time, I will be back, and you can always watch it back as mentioned in the playlist, a live stream. And I hope to see you next week again. Stay safe and enjoy creating music.